Speaking of 205 Live, this came as a shock to me. I was very surprised to read about the fact that, and Pro Wrestling Sheet broke the news, Fightful.com expanded on their report, that Mike and Maria Kanellis, who have been dropping subtle and in some cases not so subtle digs at WWE for months now, and Kanellis the other day was tweeting about, in response to a fan, no, the company doesn't care about 205 Live, but it should, and here's why. Maria tweeting a few weeks ago, counting down how many weeks were left. We got 3 weeks left on our contracts. There were stories going back to January and February that they had asked for their releases, and they were denied. And Maria came out, and she denied that she had ever asked for her release. She never said that her husband did. But she came out, denial, this is not true. Always, look, just because someone says it's not true, if enough sources that you trust and believe in. And there are certain sources and websites and people that are trustworthy, who are reliable, who get way more right than they get wrong. I think of Mike Johnson over at PW Insider. Yes, I think about Meltzer. He doesn't get everything right. But The Observer, PW Insider, Sean Ross Sapp over at Fightful, even Pro Wrestling Sheet, you look at their track record, it's pretty good. And the stories were pretty consistent about them asking for their releases, even though Maria came out and denied it. Look, Killer Kross, I'm going to talk about Killer Kross here in a little bit. And he was not happy at all and came out, swinging against these false stories from many weeks ago that he had asked for his release from Impact. And now he did a podcast last week and he said, those reports were 100% true. And here's why I lied. So again, self-preservation sometimes. Dustin Rhodes came out and he shit all over the wrestling media and websites and dirt sheets. No, I'm asking for my release from the company, blah, blah, blah. And then what ended up happening? He got his release from the company. But he didn't want any news to leak out and potentially jeopardize things because he was trying to time it where if he gets his release, he could go wrestle at Double or Nothing. So he was being sensitive to it. But just because somebody comes out and says, well, that's not true, you got to consider the source. I always believed that it was true. Why wouldn't it be true? Look at what they've done with Mike and Maria since they came to WWE. Look at what they've done with them recently. Only in recent weeks is Kanellis starting to be featured a little bit more, it seems like, on 205 Live. But for months and months and months, they did nothing with these people. So they would tweet their dissatisfaction, they would tweet their displeasure, and you can believe, yeah, they're probably very frustrated by their position in the company, and they probably are looking for the exits. So then this news breaks, where they have come to terms with WWE and signed multi-year deals to remain with the company, each for the next 5 years. Deals that will take them through the summer of 2024. Now, I don't think the reports about them over all these months, about their unhappiness, were all BS. I believe they were unhappy. They might still be unhappy or not thrilled with their positions, but in the end, it sounds like they got 2 great offers that they couldn't turn down. They've got a kid now. Hey, college doesn't pay for itself. Nor is a company like AEW going to take every WWE star who leaves the company. At some point, that well's going to run dry. People are going to leave WWE thinking, I'm going to cash in here. I'm going to go work for the other guys, and they're going to be in for a rude awakening. Because at some point, AEW is going to have to put the brakes on and say, we're not open for business right now. Sorry. So they did what they felt they had to do, and they may be financially secure now, but it's going to be a bad look if they continue to complain on social media about the company they work for, knowing that they just voluntarily locked themselves into what could be the last big contract of their careers. I mean, Mike is going to be just shy of 40 when his contract is up, so there may be more contracts in his future. Maria is going to be 42. I mean, the last sort of prime years in their career may well be spent under this contract here with WWE. They've committed themselves. 5 years is a long time. And if in 6 months from now or a year from now they're unhappy with their standing in the company still, they have nobody to blame but themselves. No sympathy. It's like all those times Dolph Ziggler re-signed. Dolph Ziggler's contract is coming up for renewal. Is he going to sign? Is he not going to sign? He's said to be unhappy. Or they did another Dolph Ziggler start and stop push. How many of those have we seen over the years? So every now and then we get these stories about Ziggler and his contract. And in the end, he would resign. And hey, maybe he is perfectly content with his position in the company. He accepts it. He's got a cushy gig, makes good money. He's got a lot of friends in the company. And WWE is letting him on his days off go do stand-up comedy and all these other things that he loves to do. So maybe it's not such a bad gig for him. But if he did have issues and he wasn't happy and he felt like I could be doing so much more, I could be a world champion and they just won't give me the chance. You know, he had plenty of chances to cut bait and go apply his craft somewhere else. And he chose not to. I have no sympathy for those who keep choosing to come back. They make their own beds. They know what they're getting into. I think Mike and Maria are with this deal, if this deal is as big as it's said to be, I think they're the beneficiaries of the AEW effect. A lot of lower card people in this company will be the beneficiaries of the AEW effect if their contracts are coming up soon, because WWE does not want to lose anybody. They want to keep as many people under contract as they possibly can, no matter how high or low you may be on the totem pole. Make that money now while you still can, because it may not be there a year from now, 2 years from now. It may not be there.